with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
And glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, I came to bring fire to the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism with which to be baptized, and what stress I am under until it's completed. Do you think that I have come to bring peace on earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, 5 in one household will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son, son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
This is a harsh gospel, as Father said. Where do we start? Well, Jesus says in our gospel today, do you think that I have come to bring peace? No, division. 3 against 2, 2 against 3. Now here's a kind of a funny story about division. In this Chinese monastery, the monks there followed a strict vow of silence. Only once a year, one monk was chosen to speak. So after a whole year of silence, the monk stands up after dinner and says, I just love the almond milk we get every morning for breakfast. Everyone nods. Another year of silence passes, and a new monk is chosen to speak. He stands up at dinner and says, that's not almond milk, that's oat milk. Okay, everyone nods. Again, another year of total silence goes by. A third monk is chosen to speak. Well, men, I've decided to leave the monastery. I can't take this constant bickering anymore. Jesus' message itself causes division. The very fact that God became man, died, and rose again for us forces a decision. The very word decision literally means, quote, a cutting off. It's a cutting away from other options. It's a yes to this and no to other choices. And by the way, nobody likes a maybe. I remember from my dating years that a maybe was just a slow coming no. Okay, bad memory. The fire Jesus brings, the truth that he brings, causes division, and that slicing away is painful. Christ didn't come to make us feel good. He came to make us good. And it's painful to cut away the things that separate us from our friendship with God. And each one of us here, we know what needs to be cut away from our lives, what we must separate from to remain in God's grace. And it's painful. Jesus came to bring a fire to the earth, not to destroy us, but to transform us. His gospel is not always comforting, it's also confrontational. It means stepping into the tension, risk being misunderstood, and even rejection. At 20, I chose to hit unsubscribe from my sinful lifestyle, to distance myself from certain friends, and to begin to actually walk the talk. After that, every time I looked at my social calendar, I could hear crickets for sure. Who wants to hang around with this guy? I lost the crowd, but I found a best friend. One who was invisible, okay, yet more present to me than anyone I ever met, Jesus. Soon after, God brought a whole new crowd of people into my life that strengthened me and encouraged me. So he won't leave you on your own. You see, when you shift your loyalty or you challenge the status quo, everyone around you will feel it in some way. You know, Jesus didn't go through all of that, what we see up here, and die for us, just for us to blend in. We're not here to blend in. We're here to be transformed so that we can transform other people around us. That includes fathers, mothers, and daughters. The world will never be at peace with those of us who believe that life begins at conception, who believe that marriage before sex is not a sin. Did you hear that? Marriage before sex is not a sin. And who believe that through the very words of a priest, right over here, bread and wine truly become Jesus. Bring these topics up at your next dinner meal and feel the room divide. Now, moving forward, how do we live in the division around us? How do we bridge the gap? Father against son, son against father, and mother against daughter, liberal against conservative, in the church or outside the church. Well, I know what works and what doesn't. First, we need to resist the temptation to win others over by better arguments or better apologetics. The stronger our arguments, the more we're moving backwards. For many, these aren't intellectual issues, they're emotional. Psychologists will tell you to challenge someone is only effective if they first know that you love and respect them. Only then are they open to hearing it. People will sense your compassion for them and be open to what you're saying. We all have a sixth sense for someone that really cares about us. And it's important for us to always stay rooted in mercy, the mercy of Jesus, and not in some ideology or argument. Now, was Jesus a conservative or a liberal? We can't box him in like that. He was and is pure compassion. Contempt for the other side never brings unity. You know, I've found it deeply frustrating and discouraging to try and lead those that I love into the faith. I just want them to have the same peace and the same hope that I have. I pray for them, try to teach them. I ask them to read this book or watch that video. But for the most part, nothing. Well, nothing that I can see on the outside. I can't see what God is doing with them on the inside. And what I've learned is that we can only do so much. God's grace does the rest. And that's why it's so amazing, right? Think of right now how you came to the faith. Was it caused by that inner urging of God inside you, by his compassion specifically for you? You know, the walls between the 2 against 3 and the 3 against 2 can only be broken down by grace, that supernatural power of God. I'll end with this. Nothing is impossible for God. After his resurrection, Jesus walked through solid doors to reach his apostles hidden in fear. The grace of God can still walk through the solid doors, the stony hearts of unbelievers. Let us ask God today to give us his compassion for everyone